What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today's video, we're gonna be finally finishing up the 224cc swapped mini quad and getting this thing all finished up and kind of out of here and out of the way. So on last video, if you guys haven't saw that, we ended up finishing up the last modifications we needed to do on the frame itself, actually getting the motor, everything all installed, and actually taking this thing for its first test strip. And it did amazing. And over the weekend, I ended up getting all the tires beaded up, getting those all holding air, and we finally took it for a couple rips around the yard, which really wasn't too much, so I didn't really film it, but this thing did amazing and held together so far. So today's video, I want to start off by actually getting this thing completely all stripped down so we can get this thing painted, because there's a ton of bare metal still left on this frame from the upper frame that we rebuilt and all the engine mount stuff that we did down there to actually get the 224 swapped in there. So before we start going too crazy, there is a few things that we still need to finish up on before we can actually get this thing 100% dialed in. So I still need to at least finish up a brace for the exhaust here, to at least brace it to the flange. So since how this thing is so long and all the vibrations, eventually that thing will crack and break. I had my fair share with all the toys around here, and I would also like to get the torque converter cover put back on there, trimmed up and all that, so it can actually fit on this thing. Might need to do a little bit of trimming to these foot pegs over here, but get the cover on there so you actually protect your feet. We don't have any issues going with that. And then the last little thing is we need to get a couple little pieces 3D printed underneath for the swing arm on where the chain actually kind of runs through, because it literally has like an 1/8 inch of clearance. So I want to get something that's kind of printed up in there that's kind of like a wear item, so the chain can ride on that, hit plastic instead of rubbing on metal, and kind of save the chain a little bit. And I can kind of hook my brother up with a few pieces so he ain't gonna worry about it kind of wearing down through later on, not having any piece in there. So I'm gonna get that all knocked out. So tonight, I think I want to start by actually tearing this whole thing down, getting everything out of the frame. So getting the whole engine, getting the chain, getting the brake caliper all out of here, getting the seat, gas tank, really just exposing this whole center section of the frame, because this is really all we're going to be painting. Since the frame is already black, we're just going to keep matching the black and make it nice and easy. So kind of just get all the bare metal painted up. There's a few welds I do want to finish up as well, and more I'm looking at this thing, and then just a couple little things I want to tighten up as well in the steering, just because does feel a little iffy. I did do an alignment on it, but it still feels a little sketchy. I want to see if I can tighten some things up. But other than that, I'm going to keep talking forever. Let's get to work and actually start tearing this thing down, and then we can get this thing all prepped for paint. So tomorrow we can start laying some paint on it, get this thing all back together, and take it for its first couple rips with you guys, because I haven't really filmed much actually driving this thing around. And this thing actually leaves within like almost a week now. So we ain't got much time to actually get this thing all finished up and dialed in, so I'm trying to work away on it and see what I can get knocked out. So goal is to get it all tore down tonight and get it painted up tomorrow. So let's see what we get knocked out. I'll catch you guys up here in a little bit. Alright guys, you saw we got the whole mini quad all torn down, at least as far as I really need to go to actually get this thing all painted up. I don't think we need to take apart all the handlebar stuff, because we don't really need to paint any of this. All the paint up here looks pretty good, so we basically just need to paint up here down and you can see all the bare metal now with the engine plate stuff, and then these upper bars here. We definitely gonna need those, give those a good scuff to get a lot of the surface rust off of there, but other than that, they should be good to go. Just get them all painted up real quick, and it should be quick and easy. Got the brake disc all taped off because we ended up doing some welding, getting the new brake caliper mounted on there. I think the sprocket should be fine, so I'm just gonna leave that for right now. Probably try not to hit it too much, but if a little overspray, it'll be all right, especially since this thing's already been kind of rattle canned before, and even this front wheel was put on backwards, and it's not even painted on this side, so that's fun. So tomorrow, we'll be able to get this thing all painted up. So in the meantime, while I have a little bit of time left tonight, I think I'm gonna start working on the exhaust. So I got it mocked back up on the motor here, and then I got this little flat plate right here that I'm gonna end up actually using as a brace. So it should go somewhere to the exhaust flange right there, and then kind of somewhere towards the middle of the exhaust here. I just gotta make sure it goes around the valve cover here because it's pretty tight right there, and just get this all whipped up, and then tomorrow I can get that all welded up. And I still need to weld up a few things on the frame itself. The little supports for the swing arm I need to weld up right under there and underneath that bar, and I think I need to do a little bit on the bottom sides here as well. Nothing really too much, pretty quick and easy. We should be able to knock it out in probably 20-30 minutes, and then get this thing painted up, let it dry overnight while we're actually working on the exhaust, because once I get this little brace all welded up for that, I can get that all heat wrapped and looking pretty. And other than that, just kind of work on a few little things, making the thing all nice and actually finalized and be done with it. It's actually been 2 days since I last talked to you guys, but yesterday I just got to work and started knocking out a bunch of things, which you guys kind of saw. We ended up getting the frame all painted up. So yesterday, kind of just got this thing knocked out, welded up the last couple things on the frame, and then got it sanded down a little bit, and then just give her a nice coat of black paint basically over the whole thing, just to kind of give it a nice little fresh coats. And some of these spots are a little iffy, and it just kind of make it all look refreshed and all good to go. We did get the rack on there this time, so we can actually get that painted as well, because that thing was a little rusty as well. But she is all looking good and finally ready to get all put back together. Now it's the next day, and while that was drying, ended up working on the exhaust, getting the exhaust brace all welded in, and then I got it heat wrapped as well. So hopefully this thing doesn't crack at all in the future, but we'll see. But I think it should be good. Should be a lot more stronger than it was before. So now I think it's time just to get you guys set up on a time lapse, get the motor slapped up in there, and then get all the accessories bolted up. Should be pretty quick, and then hopefully tomorrow we should be able to take this thing out and actually do some good little test rips with it. off, got the mini quad all put back together. Luckily didn't scratch any new paint, putting everything back on, and didn't have any gas spills from putting the gas tank back in. So I just want to hear this thing start up real quick just to make sure she runs and get any vibrations and all like that from anything going on here. I know I'm going to have to let it run outside for a bit just to burn off the new paint on the exhaust and the heat wrap as well. There's still a few things finished up, which I'll talk to you guys here in a bit, but let's hear this thing fire up and make sure I actually connected everything up right. That was cold. She's still cold, so I'll give it that. All good to go, and it's dark out, so I ain't gonna be able to rip it tonight, but at least I can finish up the few little things that still need to get knocked out in this thing. So there ain't really too much to actually finish up on this thing. There's only 2 little things I really need to get knocked out, and the biggest one is actually getting the cover for the torque converter all trimmed up and actually fitted up on this thing. We're definitely going to do some trimming on the cover and this plastic right here just in front of the driver, so we can actually get it slipped on there, just so we don't have any issues with someone's foot going right into that, because it's right there at the foot peg. And then the last thing is kind of something small, but I do want to get knocked out. I have to design up some sort of like 3D printed kind of chain guard or frame guard to kind of stop the chain from sitting here rubbing on the frame at certain points. Like right now it's just barely touching, so I want something just to sit right in between there and kind of be like a wear item on this thing. I know a lot of dirt bikes and newer ATVs have the same kind of thing, so that's what I'm planning for this thing. So I'll make one for the top of the frame on the swing arm and on the bottom of the frame to actually just kind of protect that a little bit, and I'll make a bunch of them so we can kind of swap them out whenever, and it should be super easy to just install. I think I'm just going to make it with like a zip tie install or something, because really it's not going to see much chain action at all except for at full droop or full suspension all the way down, which really it should never be that. So I'm going to start working on actually getting the torque converter cover all trimmed up and getting that fitted up, and then I'm going to start working on the computer, getting those all, the 3D printed pieces all designed in, and those are going to take a little bit, and I know I never get it first try, so I'm going to end up having to do 2 or 3 tries to actually get that right, and once I get that all fitted up, we'll be all good to go and actually take this thing for a rip. It is too late tonight, as you can tell, so we'll end up actually taking this thing riding tomorrow just to make sure she's all good to go, and I can kind of just cross my fingers with this thing and send her off. I do want to add a couple of my stickers on there now that she's painted. I can finally put my seal of approval on this thing, so let's get the last couple pieces all wrapped up, and let's finally call this project the end of an era. Alrighty guys, so it's the next day. We ended up pulling the mini quad outside, letting this thing warm up for like 10 to 15 minutes, just kind of get the exhaust to kind of burn off a little bit, because it likes to smoke once you get it the first warm up, and also the fresh paint that's on the exhaust as well. And then last night I ended up getting the torque converter cover all trimmed up, bolted on there, and she is all nice and tight and actually fits up perfectly on there. I ended up trimming it like perfect to the suspension travel and all that, so we're good to go there. And then I even 3D printed the couple plastic pieces for the chain, so chain's not hitting the frame anymore. I do need to modify them just a little bit, but that's no biggie. I just want to make them a little bit thicker so they can kind of have a little bit more of a wear to them. But finally time to take this thing for a rip. I put some gas in this thing, so we could be able to take it for a good little drive. So that's kind of my plan, especially with the amount of activity that's been going on in the neighborhood. I would like to drive this thing around a little bit, but it is a little chilly, so we'll see. So I guess let's see. This thing will start up first pull, no throttle. Money, hell yeah. All right, so I guess let's go take this thing around and see how she does. Let's back her up a little bit. with the rack on here, it doesn't make it really too easy to back up. Not my problem. Actually pretty dang quick. A couple rips I've ripped on this thing before. This thing feels real good. Definitely still needs a little bit of alignment. You can kind of see the steering's off a bit, but oh, I guess we can wait for these cars, and I think I'm gonna shoot down there. Walk it, why not? We'll go for a little bit of a drive. Damn, this thing's quick actually. I'm only like half throttle. Definitely got some shake in the steering. But damn, this thing's fast. It like literally lifts up the whole front suspension. Damn. Alright, was not expecting that. Woo! It's a little chilly. Definitely gonna have to do a speed run, because I want to see how fast this thing is, at least compared to the other toys. Definitely got a little bit of a rattle to it, but I feel like it's something up in the front here, like the steering. Damn, with the hydraulic brakes too, works perfect. Whee! A little pop to it, okay. Make sure this car doesn't hit me. Let's turn down here. This thing's fucking quick. Oh, I do want to figure. Oh, it's a chain slapping. That's what that noise is. Yeah, because when I bounce it, it goes away. Alright, that's no biggie then. Hell yeah. This road's pretty straight as it gets around that corner, so I guess let's see what this thing can do. Let's get the speedo out. Alright, 0 on there. Put that in my pocket. Well, let's send it. God, my eyes are watering. Woo! Alright, the camera's about to fly off my head too. Alright, let's see what this thing did real quick and then we can cruise home. 39, alright, I'm cool with 39, that's perfect. Not too bad. Alright, let's cruise on home. And I guess I'll catch you guys at the crib or if something breaks. Alright, so we got the mini quad pulled back into the garage here and she is all good to go. The ride home did pretty good. I was still ripping it up and down just to make sure everything's all solid and it felt amazing. Nothing broke, nothing popped off, chain didn't have any issues or any of that. So everything is good to go on this thing. I think she should be a solid ripper and really shouldn't have any issues in the future. And other than that, I'm pretty stoked about how this thing came out. 40 miles per hour on this thing is pretty dang quick, especially if we're having a 48 tooth rear sprocket and some big old tires in the back, basically all the way around, and the weight of this thing. So hey, it did its thing, especially with that 224 on there. This thing really got some good pickup in the torque converter and all that. So pretty stoked how this thing came out, and this is probably going to be the last video you guys actually see of this thing, because this thing is going 1,000 miles away. So the last little things I'm going to end up finishing up pretty much off camera is getting some more 3D printed pieces made up that are a little bit thicker, so the chain actually has something to guide on, and actually has a little bit more of kind of something to wear into. And other than that, this thing is all good to go. I might just kind of mess with the tires a little bit, because I think this one right here has been giving me a little bit of issues actually holding the air. But other than that, this thing is solid, and she is all good to go. So this is going to be the last probably video on this mini quad here. So soon enough, we'll end up building another one, or actually working on a different project, which I'm kind of thinking about right now, which is still 4-wheeled project, and it's not a go-kart. So I'll kind of give you a little bit of a teaser on there. So other than that, I'm pretty stoked how this thing came out, and this is a little series of building this mini quad, and it's actually from my older brother here, and it's going 1,000 miles away. So we won't really see this thing again, and I just have a few little stickers I want to put on here just to actually mark it that I built this thing, and just kind of put my name on it in the end. But that's going to be the end of today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, hope you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and peace out.